promotion, and then it just became like a trope.
That's pretty cool.
Wow.
Though.
Yeah, that is pretty
That's
cool.
actually really cool.
Mhm.
Just holy shit! Now I got to pay attention to that.
Yeah, we were just talking about giallo films and 7 and 7. So
yes.
See, I thought 7 and 7 was a mixed drink. I thought it was like 7 Up and.
I think I have
7.
the right one. It's a bottled drink. I think it's 7 and 7. I might be wrong, but there's one particular brand of liquor that you see in almost all Italian giallo films of the 60s and 70s, and I forget the one right now. It's Umberto Lenzi's Orgasmo. Actually goes to the point that every bottled drink in that film, including an entire bar, is the same brand.
That's funny.
Yeah, it's just weird.
They're like, what you want? We got one thing.
Did it ever actually become a profitable thing for these filmmakers, or was it like this really, really weird in joke? But it was big enough that it, like, I mean, 4 out of every 5 giallo films has J&B. I was wrong. J&B.
J&B?
I spanked myself. J&B, yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, I was totally wrong there, guys.
It's all right.
It was liquor.
So it was J&B.
J&B. Yeah.
Oh, okay. Nice. Right here. Hang on. I'm going to pull this up. Oh, no, not that. That didn't happen. But
don't worry, folks. Horror Sturdy will start after these.
Yes. After this moment for J&B liquors. So,
boom. Not a sponsor, but
shit. Yeah, there it is.
I remember seeing that in some of the movies.
It's that much of a there are memes for it. Yeah, it's a thing.
Holy shit!
And like, okay, so right there's a beautiful example. When I saw the thing, because I saw it later in my life, I picked up on that, and that was, as you'll notice, they will show up in horror films as references to Italian giallo.
That's awesome.
All right, now I got to pay attention to that now, because it's going to be burnt in my brain now. I'm going to have to
where's Waldo? Where's J&B? So,
yep. It's like one of those things. Like I hit a rubber duck somewhere during this episode. See if you can find it.
Oh, for that, I know you're talking about that paranormal show because my wife watches that. She tells me about it all the time. I'll watch it with her for time. I actually do enjoy it. Fair. There you go. Now we're not connected, but we can be. Take us on a tour. Take James.
I'll fucking go on a ghost hunt.
I know.
I'm down with the Zach Baggins. I hate it.
I see the thing with me is I'm curious. I'd want to go, but it's like if I like sense something or feel something, my instincts, I might just take off. I'm not gonna lie to you guys. Like, yo, Aaron, there was nothing. It was the wind. Like, oh shit.
You're like, oh, my bad. Okay next time.
You just gotta just let me know it's just the wind. Don't handcuff me to James because then I'm screwed. Try to run and drag him. Come on, James. What the fuck? Let's go. I'm scared. I'm about to shit myself. Oh, well. We're going to see. I came all the way out here to see a fucking ghost. I'm going to see a fucking ghost.
I can handcuff you to myself. I'll handcuff you to me. So I drag you along.
No. Oh, okay. I thought you were going to say something crazy.
No. Oh, so you can't run. I'm like, come on. We're going to go into these woods. You hear that scream? Let's go see where it's at.
There is a couple things which me and you have talked behind the scenes, and I really do want to hear behind the scenes for now that I really would want to check out, especially if we could do a few of those, and especially if we could record it and use it. Oh my god, even more so.
Yeah, it would be some of those
places with the haunts and all that. Not the haunts, but the actual places that are haunted or whatever. I do like the overnight stuff, and if the wives don't want to stay, they can get a room or rooms or whatever, and we'll stay there for that night and.
We'll put them in a Motel 6.
We'll leave the light on because I'll leave the light on for you.
You can stay with the drug dealers and shit, prostitutes.
That would be some crazy shit. Like, listen.
Oh, I felt something. Oh no, that was just a hypodermic on the floor. Crap.
Yep. Oh man, I gotta get tested.
I thought it was a good
Hep C.
Yeah. I'll tell you what, James. I don't think we should. I think it was a terrible idea leaving them at a Motel 6. They're better off staying with us if that's the case.
That's what I'm saying. They'll have to choose. You're like, hey, Motel 6 or some ghosts. You got to deal with something.
All right.
Okay.
I know your wife a little bit, and I know my wife a lot of bit. Neither one of them are gonna go for staying at a Motel 6. They're just gonna take the cars and go where they feel like staying, and that's it.
Oh yeah. My wife usually steals my cards and shit anyway, so yeah, she'll
See?
go whatever.
As a matter of fact, it'll already be booked before we even get there. They'll because what my wife does is, because she looks into all this shit. If we're going to stay somewhere, if we're going for like an attraction or whatever, she'll look around the attraction, check the best place to stay at, and also what's like stuff around to do. Me, I'm lazy. I'm like, okay, what's the place that's the closest to where we're going? I don't
Yeah.
give a shit what's around there because I just plan on going right back to the room anyway. Never happens like that, which is a good thing because it ends up being fun once you're out and about doing shit. It's just, well, I can't tell you. I want to be, I'm a nasty nigga. I want to be nasty in a hotel. Shit. But besides that, that's not why we're here tonight. We're here to talk about Cannibal Man, which I hate the title for this freaking movie.
I do too.
Actually,
there's another title for it.
This title for it, not the original title. The original title and the translated title, which is The Week of the Killer. I don't know how to say that in Spanish.
La semana de asesino.
There you go.
There you go. That's way better. They should have used that.
Well, it's actually interesting because besides that being a great title for the film, and it by far more reflects what the film is, Cannibal Man actually was not what this film was known as for most of its distribution, and it did amazingly well overseas to the point that it was getting booked with films for 7 to 8 years under the title Appointment at Floor 14. Yeah, apartment on the 13th floor, pardon me. That's what it was actually known most as. It wasn't till, it's been like maybe 10 years or so that, the Cannibal Man moniker has really been a big thing. It's interesting because it's a film that really doesn't have any cannibalism at all.
No.
Yeah.
Yeah. There's referenced, but we'll talk about that, as we go on.
No, you could even bring it up right now, Trevor. It's fine with the part where it's referenced because I was thinking about it as you were saying it. It's when he's working in that meat place, right?
Flory. Which is, all the references to Flory and all the soups and everything go back to that plant. And,
so would you say it's almost forced cannibalism in a sense then?
Well, that's what you don't know. So, so Marcos, who is our main character, works a very dead-end job in a Flory soup manufacturing center, and they are known for their meaty soups. And he's going nowhere, and he actually is kind of given a promotion to basically babysit a machine. And the machine, of course, represents, the fact that, everything is getting automated, but you never really know what that machine does.
No.
There's no explanation. So the closest thing we see is there's some sort of liquid. And Marcos, at one point, even is at the cafe, and they say about the broth being from Flory, and he doesn't eat it, but there's no actual answer to what that machine is. So there could honestly be no cannibalism in this film. That's why Cannibal Man is a strange name to begin with.
Yeah.
I was Week of the Killer or the Killer's Week fits so beautifully because, in itself, it's such a strange film because it's not a serial killer film. It is not a slasher film. It is a film of a person who just happened to be in a situation that they didn't think through on multiple levels and ended up killing somebody. Number one, he ends up killing a taxi driver by mistake, and then when his girlfriend, partner, whatever, but wants to marry, but they don't know because he's of a lower social status. He kills her because he doesn't want to get caught. So this is this week in which he is making such bad decisions and is so freaking confused all he knows to do is literally just kill that next person who potentially could rat him out.
Yeah.
And it's, so it's not a traditional film that you can just like put in one of those genres. Uh, there's a lot of social commentary, also this kind of playful humor to the film. I mean, it opens with a Flory beef commercial or soup commercial. I mean, yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, and what was oh shit, where was I going with this really quick. This was a strange ass movie, like you were saying.
Mhm.
And I was like, this guy went through all this shit over $3.50.
Well, back then there's a lot of money.
But still, though, I
Oh.
mean, yes, not a lot. I mean, because it was like, because that was it wasn't a lot in the sense of like it's expensive. It was just like a regular cab ride. He was just mad because it wasn't finished. But listen, you're being disrespectful to that guy. Listen, I asked you to stop doing this in my cab. Now you're not doing it,
Mhm.
and you're just talking shit. Now you're being disrespectful. Now you can get the fuck out.
Mhm. Bringing back to the original title, La Semana de Asesinos, it works so well because this is a accidental killer.
Yeah,
He
every
doesn't
time.
want to do these things, but for some reason, Marcos doesn't have the ability to think things out enough because it is just a lot of him making such split decisions. Oh, I have to
Or,
kill this person. Oh, I have to kill this person.
well, I mean, listen, just to speak in movie terms, people, I'm
Mhm.
not crazy. Before I say what I'm about to say, I did think this through. Putting yourself in Marco's shoes, right?
Mhm.
It's like, listen, don't go in that room. That's all I ask. You can do whatever the fuck you want in the rest of the house. Don't go in that room.
Mhm.
Everybody goes in there.
Yep.
They gotta pay the price. I told you not to go in there for a reason. There's obviously
Mhm.
I didn't get around to cleaning it yet, and you just had to go in there. Like the first chick, she sneaks in there. Like what? I told you not to go in
Yeah.
there.
Oh, because it
Mhm.
was her future husband's bedroom. And
Well,
she was going to look because there was supposed to be a surprise in there for her. The lie
Mhm.
was from Marcos or
and that's what
something.
she gets for trying to ruin a damn surprise. So she's
Exactly. Yeah.
doubly fucked up.
You want to know what's weird to me about Marcos?
Okay.
Doesn't kick anybody out of
So-
their house.
Marcos is a very complicated character. I hate to really like downplay him as much as he is, but I'm curious what you're going to say.
So this is what makes me laugh every time he kills somebody. Okay,
Mhm.
so he comes in. He's all you can see like they show beads of sweat on his head. He's like he's nervous. Shit. He's talking to the people. Every one of them. We're talking about the father of the girl,
Mhm.
everybody. It's always a conversation at first. He's sitting there. He's talking. He's like, "Hey, yeah, I'm doing good. Yeah, okay. You know, whatever they're talking about." Until they get into the room, like you said, Aaron. Then he finds something. He kills him.
Yep.
But then he picks up the body, puts it in the bedroom, closes the door. Then when he leaves the house, he acts like nothing happens, like it's just a regular day.
Mhm.
He's only nervous, but you got to think about it. He's
He's
nervous at
only
home
yeah.
because
I'll be
that's
shitting
where.
bricks and wouldn't leave the house. I'll be peeking out the windows, and someone's looking at my
But
house.
no. But you got to look at it like this too, James. He feels safer when he's away from his house because he's not there. The bodies are there. He's away from them. He's away from that whole shit. And it's just like
Oh man,
he's probably
it's crazy.
thinking a little more clear. Then when he gets
I
back to
mean,
the house, like fuck.
it's very blatant, out of sight, out of mind.
Yeah.
To
Yeah,
the not a lot is talked about Cannibal Man as actually in certain ways being slightly tongue in cheek because there's a lot of serious concepts in the film, and Eloy de la Iglesia, the director, um, there's really no reason why he should have been working to the level he was in fascist Spain, uh, and doing amazingly transgressive films. But there is this lightheartedness to this film that, and I hate to say it's playful, but Marcos is he's kind of a sad character in the fact that literally he just wants to not go to jail and he just keeps literally like putting dead people under the rug because they just happen to get into the way of his tunneled vision. I'm going to go to jail.
Yeah.
And then of course
Yeah.
he, starts to splinter even further, but yeah.
Until that one dude like calms him down. It was like a weird relationship going on. I was like, what's going
No,
on
It's
here?
not weird. It's not weird at all.
I know exactly what's going on.
Okay. Eloy
That
da
was love.
Iglesia. Oh yeah. Well,
That
that
was love.
Eloy da. Oh, well, that. So Eloy da Iglesia was something that not a lot of people were able to be in Spain in the film industry at that time. Openly homosexual, a Marxist, a learned liberal, and amazingly outspoken. Now, at this time, you saw an upswing in Spain of the cinema fantastique. So you had Jess Franco working, Blood Splattered Bride, a lot of films like that that came out and were making social comments by hiding under horror because the censorship in Spain, until the death of Franco and the end of his fascist regime, was very tight. But you could get away with certain things. Like you'll always see at a certain point that the bad guy always gets their comeuppance, and usually law enforcement is seen as a superpower. You couldn't say anything directly against the government. So by putting it in the disguise of a horror film or a sci-fi film or whatever, some of the best filmmakers in the time period of like 1969 to 75 in Spain were doing genre films like Eloy de la Iglesia because he brings up numerous elements. You mentioned about his sexuality. Marcos, in certain ways, is very much experimenting and trying to figure out what he is in general. But it's very interesting because it also brings in an element of how class plays in this film. So Marcos lives in like literally a rundown house-ish kind of thing
Yeah.
that shows that he is the, part of the proletariat. He is definitely, the working person. But literally across the street, there are these new high-rise buildings, and this was happening at the time in Spain. So this was a social comment in itself that urban sprawl was pushing out a lot of the general people of Madrid. Um, so yeah, just that alone, because there's I cannot remember his name off the top of my head, but the character that is living in the tower and is definitely fascinated by Marcos and definitely sees something in him that I don't think Marcos really feels anybody else could see in him. And that is, you know, does not
Him?
view him as guilty, even though he is very much a voyeur of what's going on in that neighborhood.
Mm-hmm.
So he knows exactly what Marcos is doing. But no, I mean, to portray a homoerotic relationship to this level in Spain in 1972 was amazing. I mean, the film also has the notoriety of, so there's two levels of censorship in Spain at this time, and that's you present them a finished script, and then they tell you this has got to go, this has got to go, this has got to go. But you also have to present the finished film. Now,
Mm.
based on the fact that so many of these films were just distributed to the US and other elements of Europe and the world, uncut versions would come out. But this film, um, Eloy de la Iglesia wanted it to be as extreme as humanly possible, which you don't get in the final cut. But supposedly there were 62 cuts requested to the finished film. and he
Wow.
actually did a lot of them. So yeah, there are some scenes floating around, but no, I mean, and also Cannibal Man has gained a level of notoriety because it was also on the original list of video nasties, for no other reason than it had cannibal in the title.
Yeah.
Video nasties, of course, being the British suppression of certain horror titles and graphic titles. So, this film has been in some very, very interesting company and has helped, to get what is one of Eloy de la Iglesia's best films out there. Um, so, yeah, I mean, this has always been a favorite, but it's a totally different style of horror.
Yeah.
Yeah, it is. It is. And again, it just shows you one thing it definitely shows you is people don't fucking listen at all.
So true. Yes.
People don't listen and people are very disrespectful because
Just don't go in the damn door. Mhm.
exactly. It's like it's one thing, right? The only way that shit doesn't work to where you say don't go in there, to an extent, I guess, unless it's like your room, but still, it's still like
Mhm.
you can't really say that if it's your wife. It's like, you know what? You're gonna find out anyway. You probably already know what's in there. A bunch of dead bodies in there. How'd this happen? Well, funny story.
The movie,
Me,
the
me and
movie
Trevor
He
also
went
has
makes
a stoicism to him also that, is just like dominoes. He just, his gut reaction, but
Mhm.
it is like the worst possible week one would have based on one mistake.
yeah.
Yeah.
It makes you think like if you're in his shoes, like what would your process be? Like he killed his own brother. Like
Mhm.
I don't think I would never kill a family member for myself. I'd rather go to prison than kill my family.
Yeah.
Killed
So
his
it was really
supposed fiance or fiance to be.
yeah,
Kill
his
her like
fiance,
that.
like that. But it's just for some reason family. Like it seemed like he was close to his brother. Like they were
Mhm.
close. So
Yeah.
it's like I'm going to kill you. You're not. I'm not going to prison. So he takes
But
out his brother.
I mean, it
I'm
could
going.
have been to the point to
Fuck.
where, like, because remember how when it happened when with the cab driver, right?
Mhm.
The fight with which honestly, I understand it with the cab driver, and I feel like he may have been able to get off if you just go there and tell the cops what happened, like
Yeah, I
just been
think
honest. Like, listen,
that
Mhm.
was defense.
self defense. Like there was a
Self defense.
misunderstanding, and he attacked my woman. He slapped the hell out of her. So I did what any other person would do. I
Yeah,
knocked his ass out with a rock, and he ended up dead. Oops.
yeah.
Mhm.
But nah, he ran, and then
No, it goes to panic. Yeah, of course, because you don't
no, no,
know.
no. But no, he took off because they took off. Remember, they went back to the house. And they started fucking,
Mhm.
Yeah, it turned him on or
which
something.
I guess she wasn't into it at all.
Yeah,
But
she was crying and shit. I was like, okay, dude, you got to stop. I think this is crossing a line here.
and then like she's just mentions the whole thing. We should go to the police. This, that, and the third. And of course, he ends up taking her out. And I'm just like, all right. But my whole thing, I'm just like, all right, man, you did this with her. You could have got you just get rid of the body. You don't just leave it right in the room. Leave it right in the room. Just put it right in the bed. Like, but he okay, okay.
Like kind of the hilarity of the fact, okay, it's in the bed, so now we're going to try to put it under the bed, and then it just,
Yeah, it's
Yes.
yeah,
crazy.
When
yeah.
he killed when he killed was it his brother and his brother's fiance that laid them in the bed together? I was fucking laughing
Yeah.
so
Mhm.
hard.
Made them face
I
each
was
other
laughing
like they were
so
sleeping.
hard. Yeah, because at first the way that they were laying, kind of,
Eh,
and then he just put them in the what's good? What's good? Scene snaps, and then kind of put them in the middle together. And I was laughing so fucking hard. Love the setup, Trevor. Oh man, but
He
yeah,
goes to the general store. He buys like fucking
oh my.
100 bottles of fucking
I
cologne.
want to talk about that because I know this was
Mhm.
1972, mind you, right?
Mhm.
He bought 6 bottles of some good ass air freshener, pretty much.
Yeah,
Mhm.
some kind of like Glade.
10 bottles of perfume. The dude spent $20. That'll be $20 fucking dollars. Yo.
Imagine it was like up there with Jade East or something. We're not talking about great stuff.
True. But still,
But
you
that
can't even
fucking
get off
store
brand. You
owner was
can't get
happy
that.
as
You
hell.
can't get that much off brand shit. Like say that same stuff off brand for $20. I don't think you can.
I don't
And if
know.
you can, don't buy it because that's gonna be some dangerous ass shit. There's a reason why it's that cheap. That shit ain't going off the shelf for a reason. Because the first person
You know what
put
that
it
shit
on,
looked like? It looked like bottles of Stenson. Like the shape of the bottle. It reminded me of Stenson. I was like, damn, his house is gonna be fucking strong smelling. That's another thing. You had to buy all that shit to cover up fucking rotten bodies. People coming in, a lady comes in, she goes, basically, she's like, your house stinks.
Yeah.
But yet again, that's why I pointed the fact that this is it's a in its own way, it's a very playful film.
Yeah, it is. There you
And
go.
it's not usually brought up as that because there's a lot of really serious things that go on the film, and it is making cultural criticisms that were not something that you could do very often. Now, De La Iglesia is interesting in the fact he came from a well-to-do background. He went to school for film and philosophy. He then made his first film in 1966, which was called Fantasmas Tres, or Fantasy 3, which was a children's film. He then made this really, really dreadful film that is like a boxing film that he kind of wiped from his career. This film called The Glass Ceiling, which was a humongous hit.
Really?
It was huge. And that made it possible for a lot of Cannibal Man to be made. So the lead, Marcos Vicente Parra, was a huge star in Spain. He played a lot of historical figures in very popular, rather nationalistic films. And he was approached by De La Iglesia, and they both became very close to the point that he decided he was going to produce the film.
Ooh.
And he took it for a couple reasons. The biggest was he was this extraordinary actor, but based on him being, the face of these historical epics, he wanted to actually break the cycle. So by signing on with De La Iglesia, it gave him a chance to really just like, okay, I want to just let go and show how I can perform, which actually he even won something very similar to like a Spanish Oscar, I
Oh,
believe, for his performance as Marcos.
nice.
So a film this transgressive that, has very distinct things to say about the church, the government, what sexuality is, the ability for the rich versus the poor to be able to have certain lives. Yeah, so this was actually, it wasn't commercially successful in Spain, but a lot of other places, but it was critically loved. And Eloy Iglesia eventually would make. So I remember this film called Kids that came out in the 90s that
Oh, I
was
remember
all
that.
shot with. Yeah, okay. So
I've
he
yet to
was
see
make.
that.
It's a
Ooh.
very
It's
good
a movie
film.
about AIDS being spread between the
Oh no,
teenagers.
it's basically follows kids that are on the
Yeah,
street, but
yeah,
it was a big deal at the time. Eloy Iglesia in the 80s made several films, two of the most important, Pico and Pico 2, which are called Kiki films, which were youth delinquents, but specifically connected to heroin. And this was all people that were non-professional, to the point that Eloy Iglesia disappeared because he became a heroin addict hanging out with
Oh
damn.
shit.
people that long. Yeah.
That's
De
crazy.
La Iglesia is a very fascinating history and really, really awesome films that are not all horror. So,
Wow.
Nice. I do want to say something about this here real quick.
ooh,
What?
So Evil Dead Trap. It's an Asian
Mhm.
film.
Yep.
There's two of them. So what I did, there's this one, and then there's these two, and there's another. I forgot which two movies they were, but there's another. It's Satan's Slaves. I put that one in the sequel on here. So when it hits those two movies, I'm just gonna line those two up for the next Tuesday and Thursday. So we're gonna do this one
Okay.
Tuesday and then the sequel Thursday, just so I don't have to spin the wheel again and all that.
Oh, so we'll do
Just let
1
you
and
guys know.
2.
Yep. Because
Awesome.
I was
Awesome.
thinking, I was like, what if it hits part 2 first? You don't want to watch this shit backwards. So I'm
Yeah.
like, you know what? Let's do it like this.
Mhm.
So yeah, so we're
Okay.
gonna be watching this one and the
It-
sequel Tuesday and Thursday, reviewing
A
this
very
one.
interesting film. It's yeah, I'm very happy we're going to do this and its sequel.
Evil Dead Trap and Evil Dead Trap 2. Me too. And honestly, here's the funny thing. I'm gonna keep this up here for a second. So here's the funny thing, right? I forgot to excuse me. I forgot to add like some more movies to the foreign wheel list for for Sturd-o-Ween. So I'm looking at the list today. I'm like, you know what? I meant to do it earlier today. I'm like, and I go to do it probably like an hour ago now. So around
Mhm.
no, maybe about an hour and a half ago. So like 7, more or less. I'm like, you know what? Let me add some more movies to this shit. I had 3 fucking movies left. How? Why? Don't ask.
Mhm.
But yeah. So I threw up quite a few on there, as you guys can see. But
Awesome.
Evil Dead Trap 1 and 2, and I'm also saying that because those are 2 movies I literally added today. Like I said, everything on
Mhm.
here I added. So again, when we get to Satan's Slaves and Satan's Slaves Communion, we'll watch both of those movies that whatever week that is, and then the rest will be how they are because they're all
Okay.
Well, the Evil Dead Trap movies are a lot of fun because we've already done kind of Japanese horror, but
Mhm.
those films fall in that fringe area. I think they originally got released as straight to video films and
Ooh.
are they're a part of like the guinea pig films, which Flowers for Flesh and Blood is nothing but somebody being hacked to pieces. um these two films have more to do with that element of Japanese horror cinema, which is really awesome.
Okay.
I love Asian cinema, especially
Yeah.
horror. So
This is super indie Asian cinema.
it's gonna be
Okay.
so fun. That's gonna be so fun. Oh yes. That's gonna be so fun. I can't wait. I can't wait. And please listen. I'm gonna say this now. I'm gonna say this right fucking now. Please, 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 please. Evil Dead. What is it? Evil Dead Trap?
Yeah.
Evil Dead Trap. Yeah.
Evil Dead Trap. Please, please, please. From Sturdy to you. And part 2.
Mhm.
Please don't be another Leprechaun 4, Leprechaun in Space. Please don't do that to me. Where I'm so excited to see you, and I have such a letdown. You know what I mean? It's like racing, right? It's like drag racing. You feel like you got that win.
Mhm.
You cut a great light. You do everything you're supposed to do, but then you fucking run under, or some shit like that, and you run under by just a smidge, or the guy passes you right at the finish line. Just you know what I mean? Or you're about to
I
get
think
it
it will
in.
impress you with its sleaziness. And it's not the
Oh.
sleaziest of the bunch by any stretch of the imagination. But I think it might impress you there, if nothing
I
else.
take all that back.
Okay.
I'm gonna have a good time with this movie. I feel like I will anyway, but I'm just saying, like, you can go back to Leprechaun 4. You can actually go back to the previous episode before Leprechaun 4, whatever episode that was. Go, you can if listen, watch it on YouTube. If you want to fast forward to the fucking I should probably clip it. If you want to fast forward to the fucking part where we spin the wheel and it picks that movie, you see how fucking excited I got?
Mhm.
And
He
then
was so
the
happy.
next episode, how disappointed I was.
He thought
It
he
was
thought
like,
he was gonna watch like a number 10 rating movie.
Was this the one in space?
Yeah,
yes.
it was
Okay.
horrible.
And it was just
Trash
like,
fire.
and for me, I'm like, okay, Leprechaun movies, like, once it gets to the hood, like the first one, and really, I think it's a good horror movie.
Mhm.
The sequel is when they started getting silly and fun, whatever. I think it started, I don't know if that started with part 3 or whatever, but love Leprechaun in the Hood because it's so fucking ridiculous, makes zero sense, but it's just fun and funny.
Mhm.
Gotta watch it once in a while. But that one there, I knew it was gonna be cheesy, but it wasn't the good cheese. It wasn't like the fun cheesy. The jokes weren't even funny. It was just
No,
like
it was just bad.
it just felt like it was thrown together. It just felt like it was just kind of rushed thrown. Like, let's just throw this out here because we know the people are going to watch it, and it
Mhm.
showed. It really showed.
Have you
Instead
ever
of
noticed?
let's just make this a fun movie, weird movie in space. Let's not overthink it. Let's not try to oversell. Let's just do what we've been doing to make these movies funny.
Have you ever noticed that one of the worst films in almost any horror franchise takes place in space? The Leprechaun movie, Jason X.
Ah,
Um,
hang on.
well, okay.
I do want to disagree with Jason X. Just Jason.
Okay.
I think Jason X is better than Jason Goes to Hell.
What was it?
Oh,
Hellraiser
yeah, I agree.
Bloodline. That part of it
I
was in
agree with that.
space. Yeah. I'm the guy that still says Jason Goes to Hell is the best of the movies, but I'm willing to wear that
Wow.
weird. Yeah.
Listen, I love that for you though. I love that because what doesn't say Trevor than something like that? And I mean no disrespect when I say that.
Oh
That's
no.
just like a beautiful thing because you're so unique with how you watch and enjoy film.
Mhm.
So I'm sure the way that which we're gonna break this down one of these days. Why you love that film so much out of all the
I
rest.
would love to do that because it really
'Cause
is. It's just it's such an oddity. I mean, it's not as great as Halloween 3. That is just a triumph. But it is so out of the recipe
it is.
that it is no matter. I mean, a lot of people didn't like it because it was out of the recipe. I thought
That's
it was interesting because somebody was like, well, let's try to put new life into the recipe.
and I feel like for me, and this could be a fault. This could be one of those things where it's like
Mhm.
Friday the 13th is my favorite franchise of everything. Not my favorite movies. I don't have a favorite horror movie,
Mhm.
which is weird because my favorite movie of all time is The Lion King and White Fang.
Mhm.
But
Mhm.
that's besides the point. What I'm getting at is it's just like, all right, man. I can accept certain things with Friday the 13th. I don't hate Jason Goes to Hell though. I used to, but as I got older, I grew to enjoy it more. I don't know if I'll ever grow to love it. That sounds so terrible. That sounds like a that sounds like a relate.
Mhm.
I don't know if I'll ever grow to love him. It sounds like one of them shits. You never know. You just might, or vice versa. Yeah, man. I don't know if I'll
Yeah.
ever grow to love her. All that dumb shit. But no, that's how I feel about that movie. Like I like it. I like it a lot actually now. But because I don't watch it as a Friday the 13th movie anymore. I watch it more as a horror movie. I kind of take
Mhm.
in in a weird way. I still attach it to it, but I don't. It's like there
Mhm.
as like it's like a cousin. So I do attach it to
Mhm.
it, but it's not like I feel like the rest are like siblings. Besides part 5, part 5 is like another cousin. But I love part 5.
Yeah, what?
I
Jason's in it for like in the beginning for 3 minutes until he blows apart. Then he
Mhm.
don't come until the end when he rips out of the guy with clothes on. By the way, with his clothes and mask. That's kind of weird.
Man, Jason's magic.
But hey, no, it was entertaining. But you're right, it wasn't like the best out of all of them. It's like I'd rather watch Jason in space, Jason X over that one.
Listen, Jason. You know what it is with Jason?
They have cool
The
kills. They had cool,
and
yeah, the cool kills.
The base smash kill was just one of the ones, and the sleep
Yeah,
mag
the
kill was
shatter.
hilarious.
Yeah, that was
So
funny.
I think that's
He
why
was
that
like,
really
"What the
stands.
fuck?" You just keep swinging, slapping her against the tree, wondering why she's not dying.
But
Yeah,
oh
yeah, that's
man, we
funny.
went off on a little tangent right there. But yeah,
Mhm.
so I'm going back to what we were originally saying. Is I'm hoping we have a good time. I feel like we will with the
Yeah.
Evil Dead Trap movies next week.
Mhm.
And this movie here is something that honestly, it is a good movie.
Mhm.
It really is a good fucking movie. It's just like this guy is so out there. Like he's so different, so weird, so strange. And I say it because again, what we were saying earlier, going just to kind of get back into it, how at home he's the most uncomfortable person in the world. Outside of the home, which is like the opposite, I feel like, of everybody in the world that I know. Everybody in the world that I know, the most comfortable place is at home. I'm not saying that they're not comfortable outside. There's a lot of people that I know that are comfortable inside and outside. But then there's some people that are just way more comfortable just at home. Listen, this is my space. This is my happy space. You can come here. That's cool. But I'm comfortable here. I'm not going to your house. I'd rather just bring the party here type of deal. I get that. I understand that. I think that's cool and all. This guy was the complete opposite of that. He was like, yo, let's bring the party outside. Like, man, let's go to your house. Like, No, let's not go to my house. I don't even want to be at my house. Like literally, I don't want to be at my house. Like I have 17 jobs because I don't want to be at my house. I don't care about being alone. I'll be alone at your house, but I don't want to be alone at my house. I don't want anybody at my house. I want to
Well,
burn my house down type of deal. That's the vibe I got from him. Like I'm just
well, look at it. I mean, he's as I mentioned before, that the fact that there are these high-rise apartments right beside his run-down house, which really is it's only a matter of potentially days until eventually it's going to be, bulldozed for more apartment buildings.
mhm.
So it's already a kind of like, uh the higher class looming over him, as of course he is in very interesting situations and gets himself into very bizarre situations, but he is pretty much the every person. He goes to his work, he does his work, he comes home.
Mhm.
He is definitely of a different class than what literally in this film is like everybody in front of him, and he's like
The
the
guy's spying
last
on him.
one standing. Yeah, so
Even his
I
love.
can see why he wouldn't want to be in the house. He feels like which he is being watched, but not in a
Yeah,
negative way. But yeah, I mean, yeah,
and that's what I
it
was
can't be
getting at.
comfortable.
Is the guy that I feel like his true love. Honestly, the reason why
Hmm.
I say that is because he didn't kill him.
Hmm.
He knew everything he did. He didn't kill him. Everybody else that knew what he did, he killed him right
Well,
away.
he was
Killed him.
going to attempt to. He had
Yeah,
that glass bottle, but then he just dropped it and started crying. He's like,
yeah,
I
and
can't do it.
real. I mean, I already knew there was something going on between the two, but right there, once he threw that glass down like that, I was like, "This is true love right here. That's beautiful." But I'm like, because he didn't kill. No, seriously though, because he didn't kill him.
Hmm.
Like he didn't love the people earlier. He didn't really truly love those people
Not
earlier.
his own brother either.
And
So fucking
but you got to think about it though. Those other people did ridicule him in one way or another. One, and they disrespected him by not listening to him. Two,
Hmm.
and that's a huge thing. But I mean, the other dude did spy on him a lot, which is the ultimate disrespect. But
super
in a sense,
stalker.
I guess, but he knew everything and he didn't tell on him. So I guess it's more of like
Yeah.
he's seen me
He
do
was
all
he
of
was
this.
even trying to give him hints. He was
Yeah,
like, you should bury him. And he's like, what? He was like, oh, you should bury those feelings. He changed it, switched
yeah,
it. So
and that's what I'm saying though. Is it's like, yeah, there was that too. There was that too. But I'm saying like once the whole spying thing, he could have called the police on him multiple times easily and just said, "Hey, listen, my neighbor over here. I just happened to be looking at my binoculars and he just killed somebody. I believe he just killed somebody. And yeah, you should go check it out. You should go into his house. He's home around this time. Blah 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 blah. Or he's not home around this time. Go in the house if you can get a warrant. I don't know how that shit works, and fucking
Hmm.
go in there and you'll see the bodies, and then go get them or wait for them or whatever. I don't know.
Well, there's this level of attraction to Marcos that is very very innocent in its own way, that you know even though he has seen what Marcos has done, there is this compassion for him. And that in itself is a very fascinating dynamic between those two characters, because that's why Marcos does not kill him.
Yeah.
He is, appreciates Marcos for, well, what Marcos potentially can't be. And, it's very key in Eloy de Iglesias' work.
Hmm.
But it yet again comes back to the economic element. So you have, and I feel horrible, I can't remember his name. Um, the person who lives in the high rise, they're of a very high social status, and with a high social status and a high class,
Oh, it
uh,
was Nestor.
yeah, Nestor, that's right. Nestor basically by his class made it easier for him to be a homosexual and out,
Mhm.
where the proletariat could never do that. And you got to remember, at this time you're in a fascist regime by dictator Franco. You're also under a lot of the Catholic Church with the Franco regime. So,
Mhm.
it was taking a huge risk to be out to begin with. But the statement that Eloy de la Iglesia is trying to make, that it is virtually impossible to be out unless you are part of a particular class and people just look the other way.
Nice.
And that's a
That's
continual.
it.
I mean, yeah, and it's a lot of his work. I do have to say, to put him into like say an American filmmaker, very different concepts and everything, but he is in Spain, kind of like what Romero was, a very political, socially conscious director that used horror tropes to make larger statements about life. So that's a good way I think you need to approach Cannibal Man.
Okay, that makes sense. That makes sense. What's good, Chad? How's it going, man? How's it going? And I like how you
Hey.
see you listened from last time. Now you're signing into Chad, man. So we still know it's you, but the video, boom, smart man, smart man. Oh shit, this is a good movie though. Oh, by the way, next week, Chad, we're doing Death Trap 1,
One.
or no,
Evil Dead
Evil
Trap.
Dead, Evil
I mean,
Dead
Evil
Trap,
Dead.
Evil
Dead
Dead,
Trap.
Evil Dead Trap Part 1. We're doing 1 and 2 next week, but if you're around for Tuesday, pull up. Oh, that's gonna be fun.
We gotta
But
rate this.
yeah, I was just about to say, yeah. Go ahead, James. What's your rating?
All right, I'm going to give this. So it's I would give a better score if it was more into the horror realm. This was like out of it a little bit.
Mm-hmm.
But it was still a good movie. So I'm giving this a 6.
That's fair. How about you, Trevor?
I'm gonna give it a 9.5.
Damn.
Nice.
Yeah.
Nice.
I think it is honestly that important of a film. And really the first, well, not the first, but the biggest commercial entrance of a very distinct voice in filmmaking. So yeah, I'll give it a 9.5.
Well, okay.
Nice. Yeah, I gave it a 7.5. I did enjoy it. I think honestly, I think I've enjoyed it more. I was watching it on Tubi, and I don't know if you could switch to the Spanish option, to switch the language options or not, the audio options out there or not.
I tried.
So-
I couldn't.
So that right there kind of bothered me some. Not that it took away from the movie. I think I had more joy because I just enjoy the films being seen the way they're, you know what I mean, the way they should be saw, so the way they should be watched.
The majority
But-
of the world saw this in English. So
Oh.
yeah, so honestly, it's like some Italian horror where most of the Italian horror is post-dubbed because everybody's speaking different languages. I mean, you have like half
Okay.
Italian, a couple Germans, and then Christopher Lee. Although he spoke everything, so he's not a good example. Like Peter Cushing or something. So a lot of those films, actually, the dubbed versions are more true to what the scripts are.
Oh, okay.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
Good to know.
Who knew?
Because I was thinking the same thing. I was like, wait a minute. I was like, what the fuck? I was like, I don't want dubbed, and I'm trying to fix it. I'm going to settings and everything. I was like, oh crap. So I was like, well, guess I'm gonna watch it dubbed.
I think
Yeah.
because I think I tried it before on Tubi, and I was just like, I'm not even gonna fuck with it. I don't think you can. I'm not sure, but I'm not gonna battle it.
If you can, I couldn't figure it out.
But
It's just amazing that it offers what it does.
yeah, oh yeah, I love Tubi. No disrespect towards Tubi. Tubi's an amazing app.
yeah.
And I mean, they get what they get. It was the way that they got the movie. It's not their fault. It's the way that they got the movie. But yeah, man, I can't wait for next week's movies now.
Yeah, I'm excited to revisit them because
I never seen them.
It's a strange subgenre of, because these films very much and there were many other ones, but these are definitely in the canon of films that influenced what eventually became torture porn in the
Okay.
United States.
Shit.
So
Okay.
these are not the most over the top examples, but they did, like Hostel and things like that, were definitely influenced by the VHS, sometimes shot on video cassette sadistic horror films that were released in Japan on a regular basis. I mean, we're talking about a country that during the 80s, early 80s, I think it had like 4 to 5 parts. It was released on VHS, and it was RAPE Man.
Wow.
So that gives you an idea of what this subculture of cinema in
Jesus.
Japan was like. I mean,
That is
these are very
crazy
calm compared
shit.
to other ones, but it's a good introduction.
Yeah.
Holy shit.
Woo. Damn.
Yep.
Damn. They're crazy over there.
If we ever watch
This is
that
the
one, we'll have to
land of
put a
a million
disclaimer before we
subcultures.
start.
Yeah, subcultures
Yeah.
of subcultures, you know.
Oh. I don't know. Japan, they got some crazy ideas over there.
They do.
They don't care. They cross all lines. They don't give a fuck. They wanna fuck with you. They want to make you feel uncomfortable. They try to scare the shit out of you. Intensity. I don't know. I just love how Asian horror, just how they go with it. They just try to put everything into it.
Mhm.
Yeah.
But
They
now,
do.
but now that we're doing all these other countries, like a few of them I didn't even know had fucking horror movies that we did. I was like, what? What? It opened up. Hey, I was like, damn, these are good too. Like shit.
Yeah, I know. And that's what I was gonna say. Well, that's not what I was gonna say, but now I'm gonna say it. I love how from this year alone, just doing the themes and stuff, like switching up the themes, watching different horror movies, getting into different ways, watching different horror movies, and other ways of just going by the subgenre of the movie. You know, like slasher, horror, not horror. You know, what I mean, slasher, paranormal, found footage, which I am gonna be doing a found footage wheel, but you know what I mean.
Nice.
Besides the point of that, doing found footage in February, found footage February. Nothing more lovely than that.
Definitely would. If you can throw butterfly kisses on there, that would be really cool.
Okay.
So I'd love to talk about Eric's film.
Ooh.
Yeah.
Butterfly kisses.
We could definitely make that work.
Sounds like a song from Motown.
It's actually really it's a found footage film that's based around an urban legend in Ellicott City. And it plays the found footage film in a very postmodern way that you spend a majority of the film really kind of like, well, this is all BS. But it's very clever, and it was my friend Eric Meyer's final film, which was very unfortunate because for a movie that was written in a week and tossed together, I think like maybe 15-day shoot. It's pretty awesome.
Okay.
Nice.
Also, I will have those beach things to you for later in the year by the end of the week.
Oh wow!
Ooh.
I just need to actually look at all of them and pick the ones out because there's so many.
Yeah. Because I think there was only for December. I think we only got 3 weeks just because of.
Or 3 weeks, yeah, because of the holiday.
Yeah, because we started it last year for both shows. To take in that last week, Christmas week, just take that whole week off, refresh, and come back in the new year.
Bloody muscle bodybuilder in hell.
What the hell is that? What are you watching, James?
That's not it's like an hour-long Japanese film, and yet again, it's like a splat stick.
Oh wow!
But it is part of that whole like extreme gore movement that was very big in Japan.
Nice. Oh man, this is gonna be fun. Oh, so many movies we're gonna get to and talk about, people. I can't wait. And Trevor's insight and input is
well. Thank you for allowing me to babble. So,
listen, it works because it's one of those things where it's like I want to hear more about this. I want to learn more about this movie. I know I'm not gonna go and Google a bunch of shit. I know James isn't either, and he wants to hear more about it. And you have the thing is you have the knowledge, and you just. With so many different films, it's so awesome. Not only do you have the knowledge, but just like to remember all that. I'm just like, that's fucking phenomenal to me.
When I do this with Trevor's on, it's like me coming to school. I'm here to learn.
No, but it's like us going. It's like us. It's better than that because it's like us. And honestly, I feel like maybe school should be educational like this, where you're going to learn. You're still being educated. It's just not in a traditional way. So you're still learning something. Ah,
It
Professor
looks to me
T.
bad.
I
Yeah, I
dig it.
was going to mention
Yeah,
that.
Professor T.
He is a
Thank you
teacher,
guys.
but he's
Yeah.
great at it. Like, what grade do you teach, or do
Hmm?
you? What grade do you teach?
Oh, well, I'm a part-time teacher for K to 12 various elements of autistic support.
Oh,
Nice.
So
nice.
That's
I
awesome.
sometimes work just one-on-one with the students. Sometimes I have a whole class, things of that nature. But it's kind of like, they just plot me. I have one building
Nice.
and they plot me wherever they need me. So it's like almost every,
Okay.
so
That's awesome though.
Yeah, that is cool.
I'm a sub. It's fun. It's a lot of fun. I wish I would have
Hey,
started doing it years and
Hey,
years and years ago.
that's
nice.
awesome. I thought because you're really helping a lot of kids out. That's dope.
Mhm.
That's dope.
And
And it comes out
substitutes are
here.
needed. Substitute teachers are needed, big
Yeah.
time.
Definitely.
So if you have what the state needs for that, it's needed. So
That's awesome though. That's really awesome. Hell yeah. Much respect. I love how you call him Professor T. Didn't even know he was a teacher.
well, I,
Yeah.
I actually chilled out watching the Beetlejuice podcast, and that's what they had said on that, which I thought was hilarious. And thank you.
Nice.
I don't,
uh,
it's nice to hear compliments, but I just don't. I don't. I just happen to have weird knowledge of stuff from.
No, it's awesome knowledge though, because again,
Thank you.
it's you gotta look at it like this. Since you've been coming on the podcast, all of your knowledge has been like discussed and we love it.
Oh,
These
cool.
guys
Well,
over there at the
good.
video clerks
Mhm,
love it. We love it here on Horror Research
mhm,
30. They love it over on the Scene Snob. So it's just like a
mhm.
whole
Well, thank
yep.
you.
it's awesome. It's fun because it's like, oh shit, I didn't even know that this
It's
would
nice when
work.
you can get somebody involved in film that they like, but
Mhm.
also kind of give them a little bit of a point, like, hey, try to like go and look at it this way. And that's one
Yeah.
of the
Yep.
wonderful things about foreign horror that it is in North America, or not North American because we had Canadian, but United States horror.
Mhm.
There's not a lot of depth as far as meaning and social commentary and
Mhm.
political commentary that is quite prominent in foreign cinema, especially of certain times, depending on what's going on in that region.
Nice.
So, a lot of the major foreign horror films do have some connection to that. Where the United States, we definitely, I mean, as I said, Romero, Carpenter, Larry Cohen, the list is endless, but you don't see a lot nowadays. I mean, we have like Jordan Peele, who is
Mhm.
fucking immense.
Yeah,
But
he's dope as shit.
you don't see a lot of horror movies that come out that, are making you think about things like what is going on in the United States, what's going on in certain places in the
Mhm.
disguise of a horror film, which is what Eloy and Iglesia was doing, if for no other reason, to hoodwink the censors. So,
Oh.
You know what's good about that? Now that you mention it with the Jordan Peele movies, is it's one of those movies where you can watch it as that, to where you're like looking at, giving them
mhm,
watching the movie, and then like kind of giving it the world view or looking at the world different. Or you could just honestly not you could like ignore it and just watch it as a really good. You could watch it as a really good movie either way. You could ignore it
mhm,
to the point because it's not like it's forced. You know what I mean? Where it's like
mhm,
it's in such a creative way. In my opinion,
mhm,
it's in such a creative, unique way to where it's not like just right here. It's
mhm.
just because you could also be watching it like, holy shit, what the fuck is going on in this movie? Oh my god, this is a really holy shit. You know what I mean?
Well,
Versus like,
they're wonderful films in the fact you can watch them once and they're just really fun and really intense.
mm,
And to quote a character from Grotesque, um, you see it a second time and you go, "Oh crap!"
Yeah.
And
yes,
that's a sign of a phenomenal film.
I
And
love
I'd
the.
like to see more social commentary in the horror genre. It is out there. It's
Mhm.
just, it isn't necessarily celebrated as much as, like, what character part 5. So
I just love that you just really quick, guys. We reviewed Grotesque on Tuesday. If you guys have not seen that episode, after this episode, go check it out. If you haven't seen the movie, watch the movie first, and check out that episode. But it was a good time. We had the director on and everything. It was such
Brandon
a time.
Reines.
Brandon Reines. Shout out to you. Shout out to Jamie Hill, and shout out to Grotesque. Go check that movie out. It was a fun indie film.
big
It's over
shout
on
out to the whole family out there working
Yeah.
together in cinema.
Yes.
Oh yeah, we had so much fun with that.
Yep.
So much fun with that. Oh my goodness. But to wrap this one up, gentlemen, you have any last words about this film?
I'm good.
How about you, Trevor?
Highly recommend it. It is a good introduction to a very important world director who, since his death, I think it was like 2006, I'm not 100% certain, has his reputation for being very much a trailblazer and extraordinarily transgressive in various genre of cinema just keeps growing. And yet again, anything, but especially when you start looking at movies from other countries, especially if you look at horror, there's so much that is out there that you might not know, but also understand you're in most places you're looking at maybe 20% of the stuff is out. So, there's so much. It's amazing. And you really do. This film is in a horror film format, it says a great deal about Spain and Madrid in 1972. And that's what makes this film really cool. And it it ages very well because there are still many of the same concerns. So yeah, it's worth your time.
It is.
Right.
It really is. It's a good movie. It's a good movie. I'm not saying I wouldn't. I probably personally won't go back to it, but
Mhm.
I am glad I was introduced to the film. I am glad I watched the film,
Mhm.
and I love that it has a different title. And it's one of those fun things to where, like, if you've seen the movie, like if you've seen the movie, you know about that, type of deal.
Mhm.
And it's just, I don't know, just one of those cool, fun things where you're at a horror convention, you're waiting in line for something, somebody brings this movie up, and you're like, oh yeah, but it's also called blah 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 blah. You just had that fun conversation about it.
Mhm.
And
I'll
you know
end with
what?
this one thing, and it's a random little cool thing. There are a lot of cool things about a lot of little movies and things like that. But okay, so this film, as I said, it was released under apartment on the 13th floor in a lot of places. And I forget how wide the release was, but this film actually was the opening film for a large portion of the initial release of the Rolling Stones for the Devil documentary made by Jean-Luc Godard. And it makes no conceivable sense, but
Wow.
yeah. So
Okay.
weird little thing that, but got it seen by a lot more people because, of
Hey,
course, a Rolling Stones documentary did very well in cinemas. So
that's awesome.
yeah,
That's awesome. Trevor knows his shit.
random amounts of stupid shit.
No, it's great shit. It's great. See, you already know, man. I don't do the trailer thing, so I just can't wait for the movie to be out, stream it, watch it, and have a great freaking time with it, have some laughs, and bring them back on. And I'll work it out so where we'll do it on a Tuesday again. Once this is out, even if it's after all this, we'll do a special Tuesday because I definitely want you guys there with us to discuss.
You guys are going to be joining us for Evil Dead Trap 1, right?
Oh yeah, they're gonna be here for Evil Dead
Awesome.
Trap 1. They
Awesome.
just won't be there for 2 because they can't on Thursday. Well, I think
Mhm.
he's getting ready to go to work on Thursdays.
Oh, that'll be fun.
Oh hell yeah, it's gonna be a
Very
grand old time. I can't wait. I
Mhm.
can't wait. But people, before we wrap this up, I just want to let you guys know what's coming up over here on Horror Research 30. Well, tomorrow, Sturd-o-Vision. Midnight, we will be reviewing Death Proof. Doing a little watch party at 10. To be a fun time. And then next Tuesday, boom. Evil Dead Trap. I cannot wait. I cannot wait. And boom, Evil Dead Trap 2. And what was funny, right? So I just went on the, I was like, let me Google something. I was like, let me go to Google. I Googled, and I could have just went to Shutter alone. I was like,
Hmm.
international horror movies on Shutter, and it brought me right to the freaking list of international horror movies on Shutter. So I was like, let me just grab some. Let me just grab a few, and I did. So this is gonna be, I cannot wait to see these two movies. This is gonna be a good time. But I do want to say this, people. Make sure you go check out Trevor over on Ambassador Radio. Come check us out over on Popcorn and Pints. Come right back here every Tuesday and Thursday during Sturd-o-Ween. At 8 o'clock Eastern time. And come back tomorrow, well, Friday at midnight, technically Saturday at 12 a.m. for Sturdo-Vision, which is going to be the last episode until November. We'll go into November again like Wyclef, because take a little break from it, because 3 shows plus Popcorn and Pints is a lot. And football. It's a lot.
I love that somebody is still making a Wyclef reference.
You have to, man.
I love that the last show you said that.
And what works for me is because November is my birthday. So
happy
you know
birthday in advance.
There you go.
I don't even know that reference is from. I don't know what song that's from.
It's a fairly big song for him.
It is.
Yeah.
I don't remember what it was called, but it was a good song.
I don't remember it. I probably know if I hear it, but
yeah, you definitely.
Reference, I'm like, I don't know what the fuck he's talking about.
Wyclef. I'll send you guys
get
both.
Me started on the music references. So.
And if I don't, Uncle T will, aka Professor T will. Uncle Professor T. Like, why do you guys call him that? Listen, we respect him as an uncle, but he's a professor because he teaches us a lot.
Thank you. Well, thank you for, as I said yet again, thank you for allowing me to babble, and it's always a joy to talk about
anytime
shared interest with people.
Hell yeah! Thank you for teaching us so much stuff. See, people, we can learn. We just have to be interested in the things. That's what I was getting at earlier with with school and kids and stuff. Yes, they can still learn. You can teach them how to read and count and do other things, but put a book that interests them in front of them. They'll learn how to read it, and they will read it.
Yep.
Just saying. Just saying. But we're going to get on out of here. Again, check us out every Saturday night at 9 o'clock Eastern time. Popcorn and Pints, which we're going to have a live video for you guys, but it's not going to be a live episode. It's going to be a pre-recorded episode. So if you guys are in the comments and we're not responding, we're not there. We're not really there. So cuss us out all you want in the comments. Make sure they're all at Chris.
Yep, at Chris.
He's not here, so he's not here to defend himself. So I'm gonna talk shit. But and by the way, because I talk shit about him, go check out Stories from a Bar, because he does have a very awesome podcast where he goes to local breweries around where we live, upstate New York, and other places in New York, I guess, and talks to some brewers and talks about their beer, talks about their breweries, and has a great
talks to some bands
as well. He's been getting into that a lot. Talks to some bands, and he's been going to their concerts and all this other stuff. He's been doing a lot of indie bands too, not just a lot of independent bands. So Stories from a Bar, you guys want to check it out. And he does a lot. He's getting back to doing some live soon too. So make sure you guys check
send me the information about that.
I got you. As a matter of fact, I'll tell Chris to drop it in the group chat.
Cool.
Because it's his pod. But yeah, we're gonna get on out of here, people. Again, make sure you check out Ambassador Media. Make sure you check out Popcorn and Pints, and of course check out Horror Star Sturdy, and check out our friends over at the Video Store Clerks, and of course the Scene Snobs. And we are gonna get out of here. I'll see you in your nightmare.